normal. You're hurt. We'll help. It's what we do. Give us a call if you've been in an accident. Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Offices, Jacksonville.
This is Stephen Lucy, team physician for Jacksonville University. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute are the team behind your team, serving as the official sports medicine provider for Jacksonville University. JOI offers a complete range of orthopedic care.
We got 30 seconds to go, y'all.
Keep the Dolphins on the field and in the game. Don't you want to go where the pros go? Visit JOI.net or call JOI 2000 for more information.
Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold or structural damage and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and
15
can't wait
seconds.
a week, call the plumber in Jax. Roland Reich Plumbing.
This is the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL 92.5 FM presents the Jacksonville Jaguars. Live from Tailgaters, the 1010XL Kickoff Show, fueled by Sawyer Gas, presented by Coastal Equipment on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Here are your hosts, Lauren Brooks, Blythe Brumleve, and Fat Tony.
In Jacksonville, Florida, the 10-6 Jaguars won the AFC South and secured home field for today's wildcard game against the 9-7 Buffalo Bills. That one kicks off at 1 o'clock at Everbank Field. Good morning, Blythe and Tony.
Good morning.
Can you tell the city has waited 18 years for a home playoff game?
This parking lot is packed already, and even the Teal Street Hooligans and Bolt City Brigade, I've never seen that parking lot so packed long before the start of a game.
I mean, you can tell. You've been able to tell all week, and I think it's been one of the really unique parts of this particular game is you got two fan bases that are starved to be in this spot. It's not like the Jags are the only fan base even in today's game that are like, yes, we get to do this again. It's the Bills, too, and you've felt that anticipation all week. It's why tickets are 3 times as much to go to this one as they are any other game this weekend. The buzz has been around here for the last 3 weeks, really knowing we're going to have a home game. It's just a matter of who and when. And now we know. We've known for about a week, and it's been a fun week around here.
I want to dispel a myth that's been going around Jacksonville. To all those Bills fans who think there will be more Bills than Jaguars in the stadium today, just come take a quick look at this Tailgaters parking lot. I see about 10 Bills fans and, about 200 Jaguars fans. So, fans, I know you waited a long time, too. Enjoy your butt kicking today. Sorry, Tony, I just elbowed you. That's how excited I am. There are not going to be more Bills fans and Jaguars fans in the stadium. I tweeted out last night, I was watching one of the local news stations, and they were showing Bills-friendly bars in Jacksonville, and I got upset about it. Look, I understand you want to welcome other teams' fans into your city. You want them to experience this wonderful city that we have. But I don't need Bills fans congregating in Jacksonville. They can stay in their hotel rooms, enjoy, like I said, a nice whipping today, and that's all I have to say about that.
They weren't staying in hotel rooms. I went out to dinner last night. Everywhere I went, there are tons of Bills fans around the city, and there should be.
Sure.
Honestly, I'm okay with it. If there really are people that are stupid enough in Bills Nation, Bills Mafia, whatever it is, that think they're going to outnumber the Jags fans, you people are, that's nuts. To think you're going to outnumber a fan base that hadn't had a home game in 20 years and had an extra week to buy tickets before they even knew they were playing you and sold them out before they were playing you. No, you're not going to outnumber them. Are there going to be more Bills fans? Are there going to be more visiting fans in Jacksonville than any other 4 games this weekend? Yeah. That's why the tickets cost what they cost. Because you got 2 fan bases that are starved to have this opportunity. Why do you think it costs $600 to sit in the 200 section? Because those people are sitting in a blizzard at Buffalo are like, let's go. What does it cost? $1,000? Do it. It doesn't matter. Just get me out of this city that I happen to have stuck myself in. So yeah, come on down. Enjoy Jacksonville for a couple days. And hopefully you got a run going in next year because it's going to end today.
Speaking of dumb and stupid Bills fans, I do see one guy who is shirtless right now. But tell everyone why that's a dumb move for anyone.
Freezing right now. It took forever to get dressed this morning. I left the house about 15 minutes later than what I thought I was going to leave, just for the simple fact of putting on extra layers. And it's going to be in freezing temps the majority of the day. And we might see 50 degrees at some point today, but it's going to be a cold one. So make sure you layer up and take some extra time to leave whenever you go to leave your house. Take some extra time because it's going to take a minute to get dressed.
Yeah, I'm comfortable right now because I'm wearing long johns and then another layer and then a vest and then 2 jackets and I have a blanket wrapped around me and gloves and a scarf and a hat. So for real, layer up
these heaters.
And we've got heaters, so layer up for sure. If it does get into the 50s, man, how crazy is it that all of us are going to be like, what? It's so warm. I can't believe it. The Jaguars fell to the Titans a week ago, and it looked like those teams would meet for a third time until the Bills got some help from the Bengals. Blythe, how different was this week knowing that Buffalo is coming to town and not Tennessee?
It was a little bit of a sigh of relief because part of you wants to face the Titans for a third time just to be able to rip their heart out. But the Titans have beaten the Jaguars twice already this season, so it was a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of nervousness. But whenever Andy Dalton hit that touchdown pass, we were cheering on New Year's Eve in the house that I was at. And so now to be able to face the Bills, which is a game that you should win, you kind of hope that the Bills fans are just sort of happy to be here. But for the Jaguars, it's time for them to take that next step and sort of change the narrative on what the national perception is of this franchise and of this fan base.
I'm so glad it's not the Titans, just because the narrative of the week, and everyone, I feel like, instead of enjoying the week of playoff football, I feel like Jags fans would have been dreading today.
Maybe. I think you would have gotten a lot of that. I was on the boat of bring them on.
Yeah.
I told you last week on the show, look, I don't care what happens in the game today. Going into week 6, don't care. Just nobody get hurt. Nobody got hurt. And if the Titans are coming back to Jacksonville next week, I'm telling you, I think they're 2 touchdowns better than the Titans. I still feel that way about that particular matchup. The Bills one gets me nervous because the Bills, if you play them close, they win. The Jags, for all that we've talked about what the Jags have gotten done in 2017, they wound up a game better than the Bills. 1. Not 3, not 4. They're not some month better than the Bills. They're a game better than the Buffalo Bills. And the stat about teams with a minus 50 or worse point differential put a little bit of fear in me in the NFL playoffs. Because you look at the Buffalo Bills, they got the 5th worst point differential in the history of the NFL going into the playoffs. Minus 57. That's a big number. The previous 6 teams that have been minus 50 or worse going into the playoffs were 6-0 wildcard weekend. Wow. The Jags are fighting history to get a team out of the playoff in the first rounds that is minus 50 or worse when it comes to their first-round playoff matchup. When I saw that number, I was like, really? So I started looking at it a little bit. 3 at home, 3 on the road. It wasn't even like just the Seattle thing at home where they happen to play the Saints. It's 3 home, 3 road. For whatever reason, they win, and maybe it is that we got nothing to lose, why are we here type attitude, which works really well this time of year. I think it's a different kind of story against the Jaguars team that has never been here before, right? And it almost feels like they could be playing with a little bit of house money too, because why are we here? Like, I think there's a lot of times you look at that kind of story and it's a team going to Houston or something like that, and Houston had been in the playoffs for the last 4 years, and it was kind of old hat, that kind of thing. So at least the Jaguars have this. It's new for them too, and maybe that gives them a little bit of that let's roll the dice attitude coming into today's game that maybe hasn't been in existence with those previous 6 games. But that is an astounding stat.
It really is. Another good stat, though, for the Jaguars. The Bills are 0-3 when the number 1 CBS crew calls their games this season. That would be Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson on the sidelines. That's who's calling the game today.
Yeah.
So take that, in your stats. In the offseason, a lot of people were ready to replace Blake Bortles with Bills quarterback Tyrod Taylor. Tony, how do they compare?
Not directly. Honestly, they're different guys. They do different things. For all the idea you may have of Tyrod Taylor in your head, Tyrod Taylor protects the football as well as anybody in the history of the NFL has protected the football. Among quarterbacks with 1,000 or more attempts, so if they have to have thrown it 1,000 times, nobody has a lower interception percentage than Tyrod Taylor. He protects the ball. If he's done nothing else in his career, he protects the ball. And it's given the Buffalo Bills opportunities in the past 3 or 4 years to have some pretty good years. The last year under Doug Marrone, they wind up 9-7. They're a game out of the playoffs essentially that year. The year before that, they were, 8-8? They've been 7-9. I mean, he's kept them afloat and at least competitive within the AFC East and the AFC in general. They just haven't been able to find themselves here before now with Tyrod Taylor. Blake has been a guy that we've watched for 3 years, basically. He just kept blowing games. I mean, that's what Blake did for 3 years. This year, not so much. We haven't seen much of that, but Blake is more of a gunslinger. Tyrod Taylor is a whatever's there, he kind of gets. and a lot of times he gets less than what's there on any given play. They don't have a lot of options on the outside, but Tyrod is a very conservative guy. For a guy who runs around as much as Tyrod Taylor does, and you kind of get that idea of the guys that run around, they're just going to fling it all over the place. No. That's not what Tyrod is. He is a protect the ball. Before you do anything else, you protect the ball. And honestly, I think it's why he's been given an opportunity to play quarterback in this league at all, because he's the guy that eventually you look at and say, well, he's the one not turning it over. Let's take a longer look at him. He's taking a longer look, turned it into 3 years, and we'll see if he turns it into a contract this offseason or not. But he's got the Bills here today.
But some fans today will be coming to the game either for the first time, some Jaguars fans, or the first time in a long time. A few things have changed since the Jaguars last made the playoffs, such as clear bags and no more move those chains, right?
Well, they still have the move the chains chant, which is, I don't hate it as much as I used to, but the clear bags rule I absolutely detest.
Really? I thought you liked them.
No, I cannot stand the clear bag rule. Outside of taking food into the stadium, which you can do with the clear bag,
Yeah.
I do not like the clear purse rule whatsoever. They still wand you. They still check through your bags as if it was a normal purse. I've always hated the rule. Never will like it.
Well, the one good thing is Sawyer Gas will have some clear bags, so if you're not familiar with the rule, you do have to take a clear bag in. You're not going to be able to take a purse over a certain amount of...
Bigger than the size of your hand.
Yeah.
That's their rule.
Which is a really small purse, and you're not going to fit much in there, so you may as well get a clear bag. Bills running back LaShawn McCoy wasn't able to practice this week. He suffered an ankle injury a week ago in the win over the Dolphins. Can the Bills offense score on the Jaguars defense if McCoy is not even close to 100%?
Not much. You wouldn't think. I don't know if they'd score much with a completely healthy LaShawn McCoy. A gimpy LaShawn McCoy, you can't expect much, and I think the Bills probably know that coming into the game. I don't think that's news to either team. And for the Bills, the path to winning this game is to turn it into a low-scoring game, to make it sloppy. That's how they got 9 wins. That's what their identity has been. It's how they got here. It's how they found a way to beat the Falcons on the road. That's who the Bills have been. They force you to slop it up a little bit because there's nothing statistically when you look at the Bills and you go, oh, that's why they're here. There's not much there. They force some turnovers pretty well in the secondary, but that's about it. That's the only unit that they have that it's like, oh, that unit's a little bit better than the average in the league. But that's the only spot where you can look at the Bills and say, oh, that's it. LaShawn McCoy, as we all know, if you've been paying attention at all, getting ready for the game this week, accounts for basically a third of the Bills' offense. That's a huge number.
31%.
So if they can't get that from him, where is that going to come from? Honestly, it's probably not going to come. That's the most honest answer about it. If they can't get it from him, I don't think they can get it. But I think the Bills would look at it and say, okay, then we got to find a way to win a game 16-13. And they've been comfortable being put in that situation. It's a matter of, can the Jags turn it into a game where, no, you got to score 4 times to beat us. And if they put them in that situation today, no, the Bills can't beat the Jags in that kind of game. They can beat them in a knockdown drag-out. They can't beat them in something where if the Jags offense is working today, Bills can't beat them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the Jaguars defense is going to be chomping at the bit. I don't know that I get the sense that they were chomping at the bit last week. I think they were ready to play, and then they played well. But today, it seems like these guys know, especially the ones who this year have started to receive accolades that have never had that before. I feel like they realize that this is their stage in order to go out and make a name for themselves, even more so, kind of increase the brand, if you will. Because now is when the entire nation is watching. It's Sunday at 1 o'clock. You're not competing with any other football games. Blythe, what are some tailgating tips for people outside today? Should they drink some extra coffee? Should they stand by the grill? What should they do in order to keep warm?
Do whatever you can, whatever is necessary, because it's going to be a cold one. Like I said earlier, it's freezing right now. The wind chill is below freezing, and it's going to maybe possibly get up into the 50s today. It is bright sunny sky, so that will help a little bit. But outside of that, you got to prepare.
Is today a game, because it is the first home playoff game in 18 years, is today a game where people really don't drink that much, you think, because they want to remember absolutely everything in the game?
I mean, I guess it's just a personal preference. I mean, everybody's going to be celebrating in their own way. Drinking could be part of it, and eating good food could be part of it, and playing good music could be part of it. Everybody's got their own different game day traditions.
Yeah, Yeah, I just wondered if, because it is something you want to remember, hopefully, a game you want to remember, if people will kind of scale back versus the traditional. I wonder if people do that for the college playoff, too. Very different than tailgating for, say, a regular Saturday, regular season game than the actual college football playoff, or especially the national championship.
I think it depends on the stadium and if they actually allow you to drink inside the stadium, because what we see with a lot of colleges is that they don't allow drinking inside, and so what happens is that people are binge drinking in the parking lot in preparation before they go into the game.
We will go around the AFC South, and we have some trivia questions for each other, so keep it right here on 1010XL.
What's the latest on the Seminoles?
Remember what happened to you? You control your outcome.
Find out on the Florida State Seminole Report. Brought to you by Performance Painting. Quality coatings applied with pride.
That's more
On 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Got some property to take care of? Let Kubota help you out. Known worldwide as a leading seller of compact tractors and diesel utility vehicles, Kubota has the equipment to help you get your work done. With a variety of tractors and a range of horsepower options, Kubota delivers the efficiency, power, and comfort to handle light construction, landscape work, and chores on the farm. Take on your toughest jobs with a Kubota. See your local dealer today. Coastal equipment for greater power for the great outdoors.
Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. And folks, if you're hungry, and I mean really hungry, Dandy is now offering a burger that will satisfy even the heartiest appetite. A full third-pound charbroiled beef patty, savory cheddar cheese, creamy Swiss, mustard, pickles, and get this, all on a square rustic onion ciabatta roll, a burger so big that they had to name it accordingly, the City Block Cheeseburger. This one's for those who know how to feed an appetite, folks, and you can get one at your local Circle K. The new City Block from Dandy. Go out and try one today.
Sawyer Gas.
This is Barry Rainey, General Manager of Sawyer Gas. I want to thank all our valued customers for their business. Here at Sawyer Gas, serving our customers in a safe and responsible manner is our top priority. We're proud to be a part of the local community and participate in the many activities that support local charities and organizations that improve the neighborhoods where we work, live, and play.
Sawyer Gas, driving every day with Sawyer Gas.
Over 40 and feeling frustrated with treating your ED with pills or shots? ED can affect your self-esteem and impact your most important relationships. If you're suffering from it, you're not alone and you have other options. Urologists at the Men's Health Clinic at the McKeever Clinic can get you back to feeling like yourself again at one of their 6 area locations. Visit McKeeverClinic.com. That's MCIVER, or call 355-6583. McKeever Clinic, innovators in urological care since 1921.
The all-new Duval Ford is now open. Same address, 1616 Cassett Avenue, just a lot bigger and better. We designed it just for you with over 83,000 square feet of air-conditioned comfort and over 5.5 acres of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs out front. That's over 700 vehicles to choose from. The all-new, brand-new, big #1 Duval Ford. Bigger, better, and here for you. What are you ready for? DuvalFord.com.
Midday Chalk, noon to 3 on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. With Christmas behind us in 2018 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to stop and just say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for stopping by and giving us the chance to help. You know, in North Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry. But at Underwoods, we look at it differently, because we consider it an honor for somebody to come in and just give us that chance to help. And if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during their visit to Underwoods, their trust. And it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores. And we wish each of you a happy new year.
Keeping up with bills can leave you in a forest of paperwork, but it's in your power to save time and trees by signing up for JEA's e-bill program. That way, you can receive your account statements online wherever you are, even from your mobile device. And with online bill pay, you can pay your bill with a touch of a button. That's convenience you can count on. To sign up for e-bill, visit JEA.com. JEA, building community, a hassle-free community.
Massage Envy Jacksonville introduces the new Total Body Stretch, professionally assisted stretching to help you get the results you can't achieve on your own. Head-to-toe professionally assisted stretching can help you do more of the things you need to do. Weekend warrior, active senior, or office athlete, Massage Envy's exclusive professionally assisted total body stretch can help you do more of the things you love to do. Visit any of the 7 Jacksonville area Massage Envy clinics today. Learn more at massageenvy.com.
This is the Mangler. By now you've heard my commercial for Advanced Disposal and our need for CDL drivers. As a result, we've added some good drivers to our team. However, we still have some positions to fill. We're looking for CDL drivers in Northeast Florida,
30 seconds.
St. Johns County, and yes, Duval! Come be a starter on our team. Earn a solid wage and get full benefits. Head to our website, advanceddisposal.com/careers.
20 seconds to go.
Sign up today. That's advanceddisposal.com/careers.
Equal opportunity employer.
Playmakers, newsmakers,
Guys, are you ready?
NFL insiders. Join Jaguars today up from McGowan's AC Hot Seat.
Sorry, I just didn't know if anyone was there. My bad.
Official heating and air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Live from Tailgaters Parking, this is the 1010XL Kickoff
Music
Show
isn't playing.
by Sawyer Gas, presented by Coastal Equipment on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Here we go.
All right, for the final time this season, we'll take a look at the AFC South because really after today, we only need to look at the Titans potentially. When it comes to the Colts, Blythe, they're coachless, right?
They're coachless. This is a team that's heading into a complete rebuild. They're going to have obviously they have a first-year GM heading into his second year. He's going to look to hire his own head coach after Chuck Pagano was fired on Black Monday. The Colts finished the season 3-12. They're not sure if Andrew Luck is going to be coming back or going to be 100% healthy for the 2018 season. So you could say that they have a little bit of a rebuild on their hands starting with this year. But they have the 3rd pick overall in the draft, and they likely will address the quarterback position, but the 2 teams drafting ahead of them in the Giants and the Browns, they got to address the quarterback position as well. So who knows sort of where this Colts team is going to go for the future, but their rebuild starts right now.
You love it, don't you?
I don't really mind the Colts as much as I detest and absolutely have a hatred for the Titans. The Colts, I'm sort of, whatever. I don't care.
Oh, I don't like the Colts at all. I think it's because of the whole Andrew Luck and Suck for Luck campaign, and maybe it's because they were so successful for so long, too, with Peyton Manning. Tony, the Texans are deciding to keep Bill O'Brien. Is that a good decision?
We'll find out how good or bad a decision it is, but it looks like he has won the tug-of-war between who's going to lose their job in Houston, between he and the general manager. So it looks like Bill's going to be back. We'll see what it looks like next year. Obviously, a bunch of injuries defensively for that team. They lose maybe their 2 best defensive players and their star rookie quarterback, so we'll see if Deshaun Watson really is the real deal over the course of an entire season, maybe in 2018. So we'll find out next year. But a lot of questions for the Texans coming out of 2017. Where's J.J. Watt going to be at this point in his career after another season-ending injury? Whitney Merciless is going to be another year older. He's going to have the baggage of another injury on top of that as well. Jadeveon Clowney looked like he was finally developing into a guy that you take where the Houston Texans drafted him. But we'll see. It's an interesting offseason there for Houston, and they got a bunch of questions to answer that luckily the Jags don't have to answer, at least not this offseason, about head coach, GM, and what we're going to do with some of our key pieces defensively. For the Jags, everything is pretty much in place.
Do you feel like the Texans missed their window with guys like Watt and Clowney?
Probably, but I'm not 100% on that yet, because if Deshaun Watson is what he looked like he might be for those 6 weeks, the window gets reopened.
For a couple years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a legit opportunity for them, so we'll see exactly what that looks like and what kind of young talent they add to that side of the ball, too.
As for the Titans, by now they beat the Chiefs, upset them 22-21, and won it without running back DeMarco Murray, who was ruled out Thursday with a knee sprain. They were down 21-3 at the half. Blythe, you do hate the Titans. Were you cheering hard for the Chiefs?
Yeah, obviously, but that was a game that was completely mismanaged by head coach Andy Reid. Kareem Hunt, arguably the rookie of the year, had 11 carries throughout the entire game when the Chiefs led for the majority of the game. Just bad play calling, bad management, and the Titans got lucky on a few freak plays, and it got them a win to the next round.
Yeah, I tweeted that I wished Mariota had tried that last week because I feel like if Mariota throws a ball up like that to any of the Jaguars defensive players, they catch that ball. They don't bat it right back to him.
It's a freak play.
There was also, I think, some horrible officiating in that game. But at this point in the season, it's almost a moot point to even talk about the officiating because it's been bad all season long. And you know what, guys? It's probably going to be bad today, too. So just get prepared for it and hope that the game is not close enough to where the officiating matters. Were you surprised that the Titans came back?
Yeah, at halftime, 21-3, I was like, oh, this is tough. I can't imagine the Titans scoring 3 times against Kansas City and Kansas City not finding a way to get one. So, once we got to halftime, I was a little bit surprised. But look, it's different. Like I know the fans here in Jacksonville, you haven't been involved in this in a decade. That's playoff football. It's this grinder where one mistake, one swing of momentum, it means so much more, which is why I haven't been worried about, what the team has been doing the last couple of weeks, because I just look at it and say, you can't create that sense of urgency. It's something that is real or it's not real. And for the Titans last week, it was real. For the Jags, I'm not saying the guys on the field weren't playing hard. I'm saying you can't create the same urgency that was on the other sideline. And the Jags had a couple of opportunities in the game last week against the Titans to put the Titans in a corner, and they didn't get it done, whether BD dropping the ball or fumbling 2 balls at the end of the first half. But I wasn't so much worried about those. Yesterday you saw it, and you saw it in both games yesterday. The playoffs are different. And there's going to be one of these teams today at Everbank that the situation, the spotlight, the opportunity is going to be too big for somebody. And that likely could determine the winner of this game today. I don't know who that would be, but that's the way playoff football usually works.
Did you feel like that was a dirty hit by former Jaguars safety, now Titans safety Jonathan Cyprien on Travis Kelce, the Chiefs tight end?
Dirty, no.
No.
But
he didn't see him coming.
NFL, that's not a defenseless receiver. Kelce was running. Jonathan Cyprien, it's not even a penalty. And I know people swing for a penalty. In the NFL, that play is not a penalty. Under no rule that the NFL has.
In college, I would say.
In college it is, but in the NFL, once you're a runner, they don't care where you hit them. Mm-hmm. You have an opportunity to defend yourself in the NFL's mind. So I had a bunch of people saying, well, why didn't he get thrown out of the game? Why isn't there a penalty? Because in the NFL, that's a legal shot. Still, it's illegal if the guy is going up to get the ball and he's still defenseless. But Kelce had caught it. He was running. He was a runner at that point. Honestly, if they messed up anything on the play, they should have looked to see if it was a fumble with a clear recovery by Tennessee.
It was definitely a fumble.
That's what they should have been looking at on that play, and I think everyone got caught up in whether or not the hit was legal. The hit was legal. It was brutal, and it may be something that the NFL wants to look at going forward because they want to protect players in more and more situations. But right now, under the NFL rules, there's nothing wrong.
And you can't really do much to protect him when he gets hit first by another player and then Cyprien hits him. So it wasn't like Cyprien was the one that made the first contact.
No.
No, it just looked to me like he was kind of going for Kelce's helmet.
No, I think he didn't see what he was hitting. I mean, he tackled in a way that I don't think the NFL wants guys to tackle anymore. It was bad form from Cyprien, but I didn't think it was intentional. I think he was intentionally trying to kill him. I don't think he was going after his head. I think the head happened to get in the way. For Cyprien on that play.
Which is a tough game. That's what happens in football.
Before we get to the Falcons and the Rams, just want to set the scene here a little bit. The grills are fired up. The coolers are out. The people are starting to now really almost fill this parking lot. I see some Jaguars balloons. I see a ton of Jaguars stuff. Just want to reiterate, very few Bills fans, a lot of Jaguars fans. Just want to make a note of that. I see some more Bills fans.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Bills fans here.
Not a ton. All right, when it comes to...
There's going to be 7,000 or 8,000 Bills fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
That's the reality of what's going to happen today. And if you're expecting less than that, you're going to be upset when you walk. Just expect it. There's going to be a bunch of Bills fans.
I just saw Terrell Owens, Buffalo Bills jersey.
Yeah.
Almost forgot he played.
Wow. I did forget that.
Right, while we're on this for the moment, all right, because it drove me nuts watching the game last night. For all the shots that everyone takes of this fan base over and over and over again, go watch the crowd shots in Kansas City last night and show me one Show me one in Kansas City with their vaunted fan base and their passion and their history that didn't have a clump of Titans fans sitting somewhere.
I saw you tweet that, and I was like, get him, Tony.
You bunch of idiots. Like, judging a fan base by that is the dumbest thing that fans do to compare themselves to one another. Of course, fans of teams want to be at playoff games. It's not new.
And it's also the job of the cameraman to pan the stadium to find those clumps of fans. So while they might hone in on a couple different pockets of them, it doesn't represent the overall fan base.
They couldn't find, you couldn't have taken a shot in Kansas City last night without Titans fans.
No, and it makes sense. I get it. You're willing to pay
a lot more money. Right.
Sure. I just am going back to the narrative that has been permeating through Jacksonville of there are going to be more Bills fans than Jaguars fans. That's all I'm trying to.
Those people are dumb. They're just dumb.
Nobody legitimately thinks that. And if you are, you're dumb.
The Falcons beat the Rams last night 26-13. Is that just a pure case of playoff experience is always going to win that football game?
I think so. With a team like Atlanta, you kind of thought that they would still be suffering from that Super Bowl hangover, but they've been winning the last few games that they needed to win, especially against division opponents. The Falcons have won. They fought back, and it looks like that they're going to be one of the. I thought that they would lose for sure in the first round, but after that convincing win yesterday against the Rams, I think that their experience will come in handy. Sort of that tried and tested behavior that everybody knows about, the infamous Super Bowl loss when they were down or when they were up 28-3. Now for them to be able to continue to battle back, I think shows some good signs.
And they get to go to Philadelphia with Nick Foles playing quarterback. Right. I mean, that's where Atlanta goes now. I think
Atlanta's defense showed up yesterday.
Yeah, to me, it's more a matter of we didn't know what this matchup was going to be because we hadn't seen it yet this year. And Atlanta obviously matches up really well with the Rams. They're physical in the secondary, so that short passing game could never really get going for the Rams in last night's game. I think playoff experience had something to do with it. I think it had less to do with Atlanta being able to game plan and more to do with the nerves on the Rams side. And the Rams they couldn't shake those nerves until halfway through the second quarter, and that was long enough for a team on the road to take advantage of a couple opportunities and get a lead that they never let go of. And look, when you get into this point of the season, generally speaking, you're talking about teams, especially wild card weekend, that are relatively evenly matched. And if you're going to give the road team confidence early, home team's in trouble. We saw that yesterday. When you give the road team an opportunity to be confident, home team is in trouble. And wild card weekend, we'll see what happens between the Jags and Bills today.
When the Jags are up, historically this season, when they're up by 10, they're in the top 3 of the league. When they're down by 10, they're in the bottom 5 of the league.
And that makes sense to me just based off of the quarterback play that we've seen from Blake Bortles when he's got the lead versus when he doesn't. Going back to the Falcons, the explosive plays between Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman last night, that was to me just what the Rams couldn't contain them. And once you get up, you are able to use those backs exactly how you want to use them. I never trusted the Rams just because I feel like special teams for a young team can go either way. And certainly last night proved that special teams with Pharaoh Cooper did not go the way of the Falcons. It has been a long time since both of these teams have made the playoffs. 1999 season for the Bills, the 2007 season for the Jaguars. Blythe, let's kick off a little look-back trivia, and I will not be looking at your computer because I know that is where the answers are found.
Definitely. So I wanted to sort of ask you guys a few questions and apply it to either the last time that the Bills made the playoffs or the last time the Jaguars made the playoffs. So I'm just going to spout off a couple different stats here. So
I'm going to look away.
Tiger Woods, he was the 82nd PGA Championship winner. He becomes the first golfer since Ben Hogan in 1953 to win 3 majors in a calendar year. Was that the last time the Bills made the playoffs or the last time the Jaguars made the playoffs?
I will say Jaguars.
The Tigers, what year was that? I feel like it was the Jags.
Nope, both wrong. It was the Bills. August 21st.
2000, yeah.
2000.
I know that he kind of ended his run in 13, so I thought he gained a lot of momentum in the years before that. But either way. All right, next one.
Next one. Apple CEO Steve Jobs announces the iPhone. Which year is it?
I saw this one when I was doing research for mine, but of course I'm not going to remember now. I will say the Jaguars.
I'll go Bills.
Jaguars is right.
Yeah.
Jaguars
I thought because everyone says when the Jaguars last made the playoffs, the iPhone wasn't around, so that's where I got that from.
So the 73rd Orange Bowl, number 5 Louisville beats number 15 Wake Forest 24-13. Is this when the last time the Jaguars made the playoffs, or the last time the Bills?
I was
made the
Wake
playoffs?
Forest
than a BCS
Yeah,
game?
so also the Bills.
I'm going to say the Jags.
The Jags!
You got
They had that good run in the mid-2000s.
Oh, yeah, with Riley Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another sort of similar question, the 73rd Sugar Bowl. Well, that sort of gives it away. Dang it. I'm not going to read that question. Well, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates steps aside as the Chief Executive Officer and promotes President Steve Ballmer to the position. Was that the last time the Bills made the playoffs or the last time the Jaguars made the playoffs?
Bills.
There's a lot going on with tech. I mean,
no movie questions.
I was going to say, I'll go Bills.
It was definitely a Bill.
All right.
And that's it for my good questions.
All right. Now, nobody can look at mine. Wilt Chamberlain died the same year as this team most recently made the playoffs.
Jags.
Bills.
It is the Bills. The last time this team made the playoffs, Italy was the World Cup champions.
Jags.
Both correct. The last time this team made the playoffs, the best film was No Country for Old Men.
Jags.
Both correct. And finally, the last time this team made the playoffs, the Yankees were World Series champions.
Bills. No, dang, they did win in 07. Jaguars, for sure.
I'll go Jags.
It's Bills.
Yeah.
The Red Sox won in 07.
Shoot.
That's okay. Yeah, but the Yankees was such a good one because they won so often.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's our
And they won
trivia.
those 3 in a row, I think, in the 90s, right? Or it's like 97, 98, 99.
I don't want to talk about the mid-90s.
We'll take you inside the Jaguars locker room because, oh, by the way, there is a playoff game here in just a few hours. The first one since January 2000. We'll also give you the latest on injuries. That's all coming up next. So keep it right here on 1010XL.
Get your play-by-play on 1010XL.
Head coach Tony Jasic of your Jacksonville Dolphins.
Hey, Matt.
Sun play continues this Saturday.
Can we play that?
University.
If the music is working, can you play that Sway song that's in there?
Your home.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry. Yeah, Spotify, we had Lauren, I had that ACD song fired up, and nothing, like I was pressing play, and nothing was coming up, so I just had to re-log in again, but I got it. It's fine now.
Okay. Natural chicken with a side of grass.
No, you're good.
I'm eating at my standing desk.
Your micromanager, total control.
A tablespoon handcrafted guac.
And your intern, a break from traffic.
Moe's delivers? Score!
Please everyone in your office. Visit Moe's.com/catering.
Call Moe's 24/7 catering hotline number 844-797-MOE's.
Mike Dempsey here, and I'm going to share a secret about a local company offering you something that their competitors simply cannot offer. At TireOutlet.com, you'll find literally the largest selection of tires, the best quality new and used tires, and the absolute lowest prices on tires right here in your backyard. You can go online at TireOutlet.com or to any of their local stores, and when I say wholesale, I mean wholesale. I've seen it, guys. Their warehouse seems like it never ends. Visit TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service. If reindeer have...
You said it's called Sway, Blythe?
Yeah, it's like Swag, Sway, or something
and give
like that.
Santa a much
It was
better
added a
runway
few
for
weeks ago.
next time. Call
That helps.
855.
Oh, is it the swag surfing one?
Yeah, that one.
Gotcha.
91 Roofing. Savings based on 2-year protection plan compared to T-Mobile premium device protection as of July 12, 2017. Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Terms and conditions apply.
It's clean, too. A lot of my music isn't
Every
clean.
2 seconds, accidentally breaks our phone. So, protecting
FLY is the singer. I'm not sure who that. Do you know who that is?
They're like a one-hit wonder.
Cost as much as
But they played this song in the stadium.
Switch to Square Trade phone protection.
Oh, yeah.
Half the cost of insurance through your wireless carrier, and you could save $200 or more. It's like protecting 2 phones for the price of 1. Square Trade.
Is Tony available to talk real quick?
Bills with easy same-day repair options.
Then you just went
Part
to
of the
the
Allstate family.
He's moving his car.
Over 30 million.
Oh, gotcha. I was going to ask him about, he wanted a Shad Khan clip. There's 4 here, but they all kind of look similar, so I wanted to make sure which one he wanted.
$200 in 10 minutes. So don't wait. Switch today.
This was like
Switch to Square Trade
6
now and you
o'clock
can
this
save over
morning. This was
$200.
recorded.
Visit
Jeff
SquareTrade.com.
Triple, who worked
That's
yesterday's Titans
SquareTrade.com.
Chiefs wild card game, has told folks around.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to VistaPrint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at VistaPrint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit VistaPrint.com Vistaprint.com and use promo code 4848 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4848.
Well, we're here for Remedy Staffing. If you're looking for a job full of part-time, it's as easy as going to RemedyStaffJax.com. Remember, business owners, if you need to hire,
It says, shot with Dempsey.
Just go to
The full one.
Tickets are on sale now for the 2017 and 18 Florida Forum.
Gotcha. Is it shot with Dempsey?
Wolfson Children's Hospital. It's the only inpatient pediatric hospital in the region. The Florida Forum welcomes World Series winning Chicago Cubs executive Theo Epstein, January 16th, and Ambassador Caroline Kennedy, March 5th. Click thefloridaforum.com for tickets.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
2886.
Hayes Carline.
At the end.
Afternoon.
Gotcha.
On 1010XL.
Baloo here for State Farm. That is correct. I have switched my insurance over to Russ Voorhis. Why? Well, I've known Russ forever. He's a lifelong Jacksonville resident. He's been with State Farm since 1997. They are the largest when it comes to auto and home insurance. You know what? He's not going to deal with you from a sales perspective. He's going to do from an educational one. Understand your policies. Call Russ Voorhis today, 276-9535, 276-9535.
There's not like any time I've ever been in before.
Own the movie It on digital and Blu-ray.
It was fun.
Sure won't.
Things that happen in this town because of one.
Hey guys, about it to go.
Clown.
And told it on rebuilding about Shad Conyer?
No, it's the first kind of being back in the playoffs.
The digital movie man.
Dang. I mean, it says shot on lengthy time of rebuild, shot on Jags hot ticket, shot on Bortles.
Southside. Renner's Pizza is ready to serve up a slice with fresh toppings.
The first one is 10 minutes long.
Make lunch plans now to drop by their new location.
they have that on there.
Publix Plaza,
Here we go.
295 East and
Let's see here.
There should be one that's 19 seconds. That's a Rick Dempsey question.
See it right here. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry, it was like a bunch of. Yeah, there we go.
I wish you would send those emails with
Now at IHRS, there's no
next-gen numbers.
downtime.
Yeah,
Then that would be helpful for you.
.com or 302
We're almost done.
5703.
I have 15 seconds, yo.
Fish this weekend.
Captain Kevin's favorite, and I'll tell you what I think. Thursday and Friday mornings and the 6 o'clock hour on the drill.
Brought to you by North Florida Yacht Sales. Voted Jacksonville's #1 boat dealer on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Live from Tailgaters Parking, this is the 1010XL Kickoff Show, fueled by Sawyer Gas, presented by Coastal Equipment on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It has been 6,559 days since the Jaguars' last home playoff game. Tony, what comments stood out to you this week leading up to this playoff game?
Just a few, as we'll get into it. But Shad Khan, when Shad speaks, we all listen, and a bunch of different media outlets had the opportunity to sit down with the Jacksonville Jaguars owner this week, Mike Dempsey. Had the opportunity to for 1010XL, and one of the first things, of course, that Mike wanted to ask him about is how he feels about Hitch Jaguars being back in the playoffs.
You've got to feel fantastic. It's been 6 years. It hasn't always been smooth for you. How are you feeling about this squad right now?
Well, I mean, I feel great about the squad, but I feel even greater for the fans, that I think they've been patient, they've been with us, and it's really, really exciting, to be in the playoffs with them.
Yeah, if you haven't had the opportunity to hear the whole interview, it's up on demand on 1010XL.com, and like I said, it's always, when the owner speaks, if you're a fan of this team, you ought to want to listen to what he has to say, and it was a fun interview as well that Dempsey had the opportunity to get with him. A couple other cuts getting ready for this playoff game this week from the head coach, Doug Marrone. It sounds like everything we're hearing, if the internet rumors are true, like LaShawn McCoy is going to give it a go today for the Buffalo Bills. We'll find out for sure here in the next couple of hours. But head coach Doug Marrone was asked about the team preparing for Shady McCoy to play.
I mean, he's a guy that can change the field, can break tackles, take it to the house. He's excellent coming out of the backfield.
10 seconds.
He's a Pro Bowl, running back. He's got all the ingredients that makes it, he's very, very dangerous on the field.
Yeah, one last cut here. I do love the LaShawn McCoy story of whenever he would juke someone on the field, he whispers his own name. if he shook you, there was a story. I never found out if it was true or if it was just internet rumor stuff. But there was a story that if he juked you, like as he ran by you, he'd go McCoy, like as he ran by. Which I love the idea of.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know if the reality, met the story, but
we won't find out today.
I hope not. One last cut here from head coach Doug Marrone. And, of course, it's been a big story, a bigger story for Buffalo than it is for the Jags, obviously. But Doug Marrone was asked about what has changed for him as a coach since his departure from the Buffalo Bills.
You mentioned you've changed. How have you changed? Look at him. Smiling, happy. I'm good.
Well, you smiled back then, too.
Oh, yeah, I did. But I always had an issue with that, you know what I'm saying, of not smiling enough or being so guarded or things of that nature. I just think now I come out here.
15.
I have a lot of respect for the people that are here. I hope that I've shown, respect for them and the job that they have. And I just think that, that I'm just not as guarded. I've kind of let my guard down and just be who I am.
I think it is interesting. They obviously acquired Marcel Darius in a trade mid-season from the Buffalo Bills, and Darius, outside of Doug Marrone, is the only one really on this roster that knows what it's like to play for Buffalo Marrone and Jacksonville Marrone, and I think we have heard him talk about how much he has changed. And you heard the comments from some of the players, including, Marcel Darius when Doug Marrone left Buffalo, and he was saying things like, everything was important to him. It's like, it was just ridiculous. Like, the stuff that we had to do, the meeting stuff, like, everything that he was just so uptight about, it was a little ridiculous. And I think you can have discipline without being the guy that has to have your hand on the wheel for everything. And that's a lesson that it took Tom Coughlin not being here in Jacksonville anymore and actually a handful of years in New York for him to learn that lesson, that you can still have discipline without having to be the disciplinarian about everything with these guys. And it sounds like it's a lesson that Doug Marrone learned in his second stint as a head coach as well.
One of my favorite quotes from Marrone this year has been how often he talks to Coughlin, and he said, during the season, I talked to him more than my wife. In the offseason, I hope that's not the case. And it makes sense because he is gleaning so much from Tom Coughlin. Tom has been in every situation that Doug Marrone will potentially get into. And yes, he's not able to necessarily control the X's and the O's, Tom's not, but he is able to help Doug manage everything else and delegate. I think that's one thing control freaks understand. It is hard to give up responsibility and let someone else do something that you're used to doing yourself and you feel like you do at a high level. But that's absolutely what head coaching becomes, is you have to be able to trust the people underneath you.
Well, any true leader knows that once you can't do everything yourself, and you have to be able to trust the team around you to be able to take all of you to the next level. So true leaders recognize that at some point in their career and are able to apply it effectively, and we're seeing that now with Marrone and Coughlin.
Yeah, and I think this team has responded to everything Doug Marrone has done, and I don't know if that's necessarily a Tom Coughlin influence as far as using the extra motivation, finding the Vontaze Burfict comments about Blake Bortles, and then the Davion Clowney comments, and then obviously recently the Jarrell Casey comments. I wonder if that's much more Marrone, just because he was a player and in the NFL and has that ability to kind of take your motivation to the next level.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for the fans, it's hard to figure out how much is Coughlin and how much is Marrone. Let me just tell you, they're both doing a wonderful job. And how much is coming from who? From your perspective, who cares? The team is 10-6. They're hosting a playoff game. They won the AFC South. They obviously work really well together in concert with Dave Caldwell, who no one talks about. But Dave, you look at a lot of pieces on this defense, that's Caldwell.
Because of Caldwell.
Right. They're bringing a lot of those guys in. It's, you hear them talk about Calais Campbell and A.J. Boye and those guys this offseason. Look, I don't know 100% for sure if those guys would have been here without Coughlin, but I do know this. None of those guys had a conversation with Tom Coughlin before they signed in Jacksonville. They talked to Dave Caldwell. They didn't talk to Tom. They talked to Dave. Mm-hmm. And so Dave is the one who eventually is the one that got out there and got him. Now, maybe they're here because Tom Coughlin's here in part. I don't know. But I think the three of them, we had a lot of questions about how this thing was going to work coming into the season. and it's worked as well as I think you could possibly have expected it to work.
Especially with Dave Caldwell. He was the one that drafted all of these pieces that are now starting to shine under a coach that knows how to put them in a position that they're going to excel at. We've seen with Gus Bradley, he didn't really understand the players of what he was trying to do. And yes, this team has a lot more talent than what Gus Bradley ever had, but you're starting to see the entire organization take shape just because of the leadership that we have with Marone, Coughlin, and Caldwell.
No, that doesn't mean that when I see Dave in the hallways that we still don't barb each other about Blake, because I do. Like, that's still like inevitably where the conversation turns usually if I'm going to have just like a little side conversation with Dave Caldwell, and we both can kind of laugh about it. And in a season like Blake is having, it's easy to laugh about it. It hasn't been fun to laugh about it for the last 3 years. This year, if they can get Blake back to where he was at the start of December, this is a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yes.
And I don't know if he's going to be that today, or if they happen to win today, if he's going to be that going into next week. I don't know. He's been inconsistent. We've seen it with that from Blake. But if they get that level of play from Blake, this is a Super Bowl contender. It's not just hey, we can win a wild card game. This team can win against anybody in the league if they're going to get that kind of level of play from Blake that we saw in early December.
Do you think that this game determines Blake Bortles' future in a Jaguars uniform?
I don't.
Short term, no. I think he's done enough that the guys within the organization, Blake is going to be part of the quarterback picture in Jacksonville in 2018. Now, to what degree, I don't know. It's a long conversation to have in the offseason, whether they draft a guy or bring in a veteran to compete for that spot. I don't know the answers to that, but I think inside the organization, they're going to look at what Blake did this year and say he deserves an opportunity to come back and win that job in 2018 at minimum.
See, I think he needs to prove that he needs to earn that job with this playoff performance.
I think there should be some urgency to his performance today, but I don't know if it's going to determine his future in Jacksonville.
Also,
today.
the Bills aren't great against the run. We're about to get to our keys to a Jaguars victory. The Bills aren't that great stopping the run, so to me, Blake shouldn't have to do that much today. If all goes according to plan, Leonard Fournette, with a dose of maybe Corey Grant, should be able to get this Jaguars offense to where they need to be, and then Blake should be able to complete the not necessarily easy passes, but maybe the crossing route passes not necessarily have to go deep in order to beat the Bills. So to me, this is not necessarily the biggest test that we'll see for Bortles. I think it's going to be, though, if the Jaguars win today, the next couple weeks.
I think it's a 0-0 slate right now. Bortles is at the luxury of sort of ignoring the past two games and his performance in those games. Now starts your future as an NFL quarterback. How you play in this playoffs will determine if Blake Bortles will be a starting quarterback in the future in the NFL.
Quick traffic note. I'm looking at both the Hart Bridge and the Matthews Bridge. Everything seems to be flowing smoothly. So if you're headed downtown now, you shouldn't have too many delays.
But
the parking lots are certainly filling up, yes. And everyone's been encouraged to get down here early and then to get into the stands early. If you get in before noon, you get a free rally towel. Is that an agenda for you today to get the rally towel?
Yeah, because the giveaways this year have been a little lack. So I'm looking forward to actually a decent giveaway for the rewarding the season ticket holders who have been around this franchise for forever. I want a giveaway, and I want to see a good one. And I
want to get it, and I want it now.
Well, we haven't gotten one the past few games,
so now or never. All right, when it comes to the Jaguars beating the Bills, that's right, Bills fans. That's right, yeah, those hideous parents can just keep on walking. All right, when it comes to the Jaguars beating the Bills, how does that happen? Blythe, I'll start with you. What's your first key to a Jaguars victory?
I think channeling the emotion properly. This game, this season, this team, it's about changing the narrative. And don't get baited into silly penalties. We've seen that happen sort of with this team. They sort of toe that line of using that emotional advantage, toe that psychological gamesmanship, and where you can always have the upper hand. Chess, not checkers.
I like it. By the way, it's a really good thing I'm sitting in the press box today, because if I was in the stands near any of these Bills fans, I don't think that would go so well. I don't have a good tolerance for people running their mouths.
Oh, you just got to sit in a good section. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean,
a solidified
potentially
section.
Sure. Potentially today, some of those season ticket holders, not saying your section, but some of those season ticket holders will have found people that they can make a lot of money on, and they've decided to sell their tickets and whatever.
Shame on you.
Sure, but I just don't do a good job, especially if they, are just those people who are kind of yapping the whole time. I don't do a good job. All right, I'll piggyback off of your first key to a Jaguars victory and say get the crowd involved early with a big play on defense. Whether that be a sack, whether it be a strip sack, I'll take one of those, or of course a defensive touchdown. Any of those I think will get Everbank, which is literally just like going to be on pins and needles waiting for something big to happen early. That's how you do it. How about you, Tony?
I'll give a couple because they're both offensive keys for me, and y'all both mentioned defense to get things started. I think the key for today's game, look, I think if Buffalo can get you to play the game in the mud, that's their chance to win this game, so don't let them. And I think that's about a fast start, and that's not running the ball. That's being aggressive throwing the ball. Yes. And if they find a way to score a touchdown on the opening drive offensively, it's one of those games where it could be off to the races. For this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Now, they got to put themselves in a position to do that. I think that's about being aggressive offensively with Blake Bortles. I think the last 2 times that we've seen Blake play in a game where the Jaguars had anything on the line, by the time they started the game in San Francisco, nothing mattered that happened in that game. If Buffalo had beaten the New England Patriots, then maybe you get a little more juice out of that game. We've talked to guys that were on the sideline, whether it be Brent Martineau, who have talked about you could feel it when they got out there and they knew they were division champions. There was a letdown on that sideline. It's human to have that kind of letdown in that situation. They're playing a game last week against Tennessee that everyone was freaking out about all week, and I kept saying you can't manufacture urgency in this situation. Tennessee has it. Jacksonville simply doesn't. Both teams have urgency today. I think we see the Blake Bortles that we saw in early December. I think we see the Blake Bortles that we saw when they had something to play for against Seattle, when they had something to play for against Houston. I think he's a gamer. I think he shows up when the lights are brightest, and I think today is going to be one of those games. I expect Blake to have a really good game. I expect him to be aggressive early. The other thing I want to say offensively, 135 is my number. If the Jags rush for 135 yards, Bills can't beat them. If they can get to that kind of number, and the Bills are going to allow the Jaguars to establish a run game because of the way this Jaguars team can play defense, Bills can't beat them if the Jags can run the ball when they want to run the ball. 35 is my number on the ground. If they reach that, they win.
If the Jags are aggressive on offense, and if they are up by 10 points, which could be a defensive score too, but regardless, however their aggressive style is, if they're up by 10, they're a top 3 team in the league as far as wins are concerned. When they're down by 10, they're a bottom 5 team in the league.
Going off of Blake Bortles, the Jaguars receivers need to catch the football. We saw this as an issue in the loss to the Cardinals, and then the last 3 games here at Everbank Field, the wide receivers caught everything seemingly. So just get back to that. You're at home, relax, and catch the freaking football. Help your quarterback out. It doesn't help Blake. Yes, he's throwing some interceptions, 5 over the last 2 games, but it doesn't help him when you're dropping touchdown passes or dropping wide open passes. So you got to catch the football. And finally, use special teams to your advantage. The return game hurt you last week. You won't win games in January with mistakes. We saw this affect the Rams last night. Both the Falcons and the Titans yesterday were able to get and convert third downs when absolutely necessary in those critical moments of the game. The Jaguars are going to have to be able to convert third downs. Anything else, Blythe?
Nope, that was it for me.
All right, Tony, tell us about the injury report.
The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979.
We'll start with the Buffalo Bills. Sharice Wright, their cornerback, is officially out with a concussion, so he will not be in the lineup today. Matthew Milano, the linebacker, with a hamstring injury, listed as questionable. Jordan Mills, their tackle, with an ankle injury, questionable as well. Deontay Thompson, the wide receiver, with a shoulder injury, questionable. And Joe Webb, the backup quarterback, questionable for today's game as well with an ankle injury. Joe Webb, by the way, the Bills quarterback that was actually on the field during that Blizzard game against Indianapolis when they found a way to win it. If they hadn't found a way to win that game, the Buffalo Bills aren't in Jacksonville today. And the only reason they had an opportunity to win that game is because of a late flag on a 2-point conversion by the Colts. So without that, they're not even here in Jacksonville. Pretty crazy if you think about it for the Bills. And finally, LaShawn McCoy, who we've been talking about all week, he's officially listed as questionable, but the reports coming out this morning sounds like he's at least going to give it a try today for the Buffalo Bills. James O'Shaughnessy, a late addition to the injury report for the Jacksonville Jaguars with an illness. Hopefully that's not getting around the locker room today for the Jacksonville Jaguars. TJ Yeldon, also with an illness, questionable coming into today's game, so we'll see if he's able to give it a go. And Marquise Lee, kind of like LaShawn McCoy with that ankle injury. Marquise has had a couple of weeks off, so it would be week 3 for him dealing with the high ankle sprain. That's still kind of a short timeline for a guy to get back on the field with that kind of injury, but it sounds like Marquise is at least going to give it a go today in a do-or-die game for the Jags.
Do you think that the flu is potentially going around Everbank Field?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that, especially when I saw that O'Shaughnessy news coming out yesterday. But hopefully everybody else on the Jaguars team is healthy other than the two with the illnesses, TJ Yeldon and James O'Shaughnessy. When we come back, we will head up to Buffalo and chat with Del Reed. We will go outside the 904. That's next. Keep it right here on 1010XL.
Who's going to be this week's superhero? Bring the juice today, brother. After the action, listen for the Tony's Auto Sales Offensive Player of the Game. Just keep making plays, man. Tony's Auto Sales. Luxury cars, low prices. 1010XL.
Here's a message for all riders who want more from a touring motorcycle. Take a test ride on the 2018 touring models that just rolled into Adamak Harley-Davidson. These bikes are more than you ever imagined. Adamak Harley-Davidson. All for freedom, freedom for all. All comparisons made are between original equipment 2016 and 2018 models. See dealer for details or visit AdamakHarley.com.
When Jadon Mickens returned to punt for a touchdown in Week 9, Dream Finders Homes awarded $100,000 towards a Dream Finders home to the Bates family. Did you know you too could win $100,000 towards your dream home? Visit any model home and register to win the Take It to the House promotion this season. That's right, you still have a chance at scoring $100,000 towards a Dream Finders home. DreamFindersHomes.com. Good luck and go Jags.
Hi, this is Dr. Michael Adams, the head team physician for the Jacksonville Sharks. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute are the team behind your team, serving as the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Sharks. JOI offers a complete range of orthopedic care and rehabilitation services to keep the Sharks on the field and in the game. Treat yourself like a pro. Visit JOI.net or call JOI 2000 for more information. That's JOI 2000.
If you're looking to upgrade to a luxury vehicle, think Tony's Auto Sales of Jacksonville. When you think of Tony's Auto Sales, think quality, selection, and most importantly, price. You won't pay that new sticker price at Tony's. So before you buy new, go see Tony. He will finance every vehicle in the lot and service what he sells. Go see Tony at 8908 Atlantic Boulevard, 1/4 mile west of Southside next to IHOP. Tony's Auto Sales of Jacksonville. Luxury cars, low prices.
Blue here for the Blue Crab Crab House. They've been around since 1996. The authentic crab house in town, now serving Apalachicola oysters, local blue crabs. How about Canadian snow crab legs? Absolutely, right there on Jewington Creek Road. Now, if you're with a party that doesn't love seafood, Parmesan crusted meatloaf, blackened chicken pasta, chopped sirloin, among other things. The Mardi Gras menu will come out on the 15th. That'll be, of course, in the great month of February. I will see you at the Blue Crab Crab House, Jewington Creek Road.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
All right, guys, be honest. Have you ever forgotten your anniversary with your significant other? No judging here. Just try to remember next time, okay? And here's the anniversary. I don't want you to forget.
I'm looking at all these,
the Advanced Med Spa celebrating their 13-year anniversary, offering you great savings on laser hair removal. Buy one area, get a second area for only
they give me, and then when they lose,
yeah, my
post
wife
that
does that. That's for
online.
her. This is for your wife. This is also for you.
There you go.
This all of the time. Embarrassing, unwanted hair. It plagues us all, and they can take care of you at Ideal Image, so you too can be smooth all of the time. Call Ideal Image. It's a complimentary private consultation, and what a great deal right now. Their 13th year anniversary, offering you great savings. Buy one area, get a second area for only $13. Call 904-652-0652. That's 904-652-0652. Located at the Markets at Town Center and US 17, just south of Orange Park on Fleming Island. IdealImage.com. Medical Director Dr. Helly Hickman.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Attorney CPA Joe
I'll tag like
effective
old
defense
takes
often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims, clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters. And that's why it's so important to hire someone.
Just got him on, yeah.
Okay,
By the
awesome.
way,
Thank you.
unless you're in Missouri.
No problem. And we got just over a minute to go, too.
But that's okay. Our attorneys in your state are.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Jacksonville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in downtown Jacksonville and by appointment only in Deerwood Park and Ponte Vedra Beach. Cordell & Cordell, Jacksonville, Florida. Lauren Atkins, Florida resident partner. Announcers are not licensed attorneys.
Get great golf tips from the experts every Saturday morning at 10. It could be extremely good. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour, Saturday morning on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
30 seconds.
The new Total Body Stretch, professionally assisted stretching to help you get the results you can't achieve on your own. Only at the 7 Jacksonville area Massage Envy clinics right now. To enter to win a free 30-minute stretch session from Massage Envy, text STRETCH to 82257.
You never have
15.
to miss an interview on 1010XL. If you do, just go to 1010XL.com on demand. I'm Cece Underwood of Keller Williams Jacksonville Realty, and I'll sell your home in 60 days and I'll sell it for free. Visit sellingwithcc.com.
Live from Tailgaters Parking, the 1010XL Kickoff Show, fueled by Sawyer Gas, presented by Coastal Equipment on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Any guess why I chose Back in Black by AC/DC?
Because they're back home and they're wearing black?
There you go, and he wins. He's the prize. Brad, what is the latest with weather and traffic? I can still see my breath, so I know it's still a little chilly.
Yeah, it's gonna be chilly. Make sure you layer up. We started off this morning with freezing temperatures. Wind chill is below freezing, and we might hit close to 50 degrees today, and that's a big, strong might. But it is bright and sunny. It is beautiful outside despite the cold weather, so just make sure you layer up and leave your house early. If you haven't left already, you need to do so in like the next 15, 20 minutes.
We're up to 40 degrees, so it is like a heat wave going on over here. All right, now let's go outside the 904.
Wonder what the other guys are doing at their tailgate? Let's go outside the 904 with Blythe.
The Bills and the Jaguars are two franchises that have been the butt of jokes for other fan bases all season long, season after season. But either through a complete surprise or fantastic luck, both teams now find themselves in the playoffs hoping to win and change that national narrative. We heard all week about the Jaguars' journey as a fan base, but joining us now to talk about the Bills side of things is the co-founder of the Bills Mafia, Del Reed. Now, Del, you joined us about a year ago for this same segment. What's the biggest reason the Bills find themselves in the playoffs this year?
First of all, thanks for having me on. And it's literally 10 times colder here in Buffalo. I think it's like 4 degrees. So I was still 40 degrees right now.
I don't even know what that life is like.
But yeah, I think Sean McDermott, it begins and ends with him. He has, the Bills have been churning through coaches over the past, 17 years. And the new culture that he has instilled here, I think has really played a large role in the team's success. A great example is, and there's so many, but one is when when he made the we're going to call it a mistake of starting Nathan Peterman against the Chargers in late November, where he infamously threw 5 interceptions in the first half. That you didn't see a lot coming out through social media from the players. It really does seem like they are a tight, cohesive group that is all in on everything that the team is doing. Good or bad, they stick through it.
Well, speaking of a tight, cohesive unit, I think that sort of describes the Bills fans overall as a fan base. What are some of the most common misconceptions about Bills Mafia?
That we all jump through tables every Sunday and every opportunity we get. It is a segment of the fan base, which I have a hard time wrapping my head around, but there's a lot of things in this world where I don't quite understand, so it's okay. But we really are so much more than just the parking lot debauchery on Sunday mornings. We are diehards, just like Jags fans. You guys have been through it as well, like you mentioned at the top there. We stick through with this team through thick and thin, and we've been, I feel like, tried and tested both of these fan bases, and we stick through it. And as you've seen with the Andy Dalton Foundation, we have big hearts. And Buffalo's a city of good neighbors. That's our nickname, and it's aptly titled.
How do those good neighbors feel about head coach Doug Marrone?
I was talking with some of my Jags friends on Twitter last night. I said, listen, if it doesn't go the Bills' way tomorrow, I'm still gonna pull for you guys, even if I am not a fan of your head coach. So, he exercised an option in his contract that was completely his right to do. And if he wants to, be a quitter and have that reputation, that's cool. You do you.
Del, there was an article written in the Buffalo News by Rod Watson where he advocates for talking about more serious things in life than the playoff game. How did you feel when reading that?
I think I felt the exact same way as everybody in the city except for the guy who wrote it. What the heck, dude? What's your problem? Okay, so listen, I'm 42 years old. I've been reading the Buffalo News my whole life. I've never even heard of the guy. So I don't know if it was some special to the news or it was some pseudonym, but I don't know. Rod Watson sounds like he's a lot of fun at parties. So I'm expecting he'll probably get a lot of invites this offseason.
Del, why do you think that sort of independent fan groups like the Bills Mafia, Bold City Brigade, Teal Street Hooligans are important for small market teams like the Bills and the Jaguars?
I think we rally the troops, and I only have experience as being a small market fan, so I'm not really sure how those all those LA fans go down and how they how they do it. The 20,000 seat stadium for the Chargers. I'm not sure how they really do everything they do, but I don't know. I think that it's these supporter groups which I've seen described very similar to like a lot of the European soccer leagues and everything. I think that adds another layer of community, especially with a small market. Like I'm assuming Jacksonville is much like Buffalo, where they talk about the 6 degrees of separation, in films, and there's probably 2 degrees of separation in Western New York. I'm guessing it's very similar to Jacksonville.
You would be right.
So so community is part of our DNA. So to have something like this, with Bills Mafia, we often call ourselves a fam base, the FAM, and I know my Bold City Brigade friends often call each other cousins. So that family atmosphere, I think, kind of grows out of the market size. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I think it's just a natural progression in terms of how these respective fan bases live their lives.
What do you expect out of the Bills' offense today, Del? With obviously not 100% LaShawn McCoy, if they don't have that guy at 100%, where do you feel like the Bills can threaten this Jaguars defense?
It's a good question. Offense certainly runs through LaShawn McCoy as it has the past 3 seasons now. Even a 75%, that's a number I'm just pulling out of the air, 75% LaShawn McCoy is still better than, most NFL running backs at 100%. There have been instances where he's tried to go, I think it was last season as a game he tried to go, and he wasn't 100%, and he wasn't able to pull it off. I think it's a different injury altogether, but I don't know. They're going to need LaShawn McCoy, and if he's not able to go today, then they're really going to have to rely on Mike Tolbert and this explains to you right here. I think his name is Mark Murphy. Practice squad. He had a great showing in the few snaps he had last Sunday, but they're going to have to rely on those guys because their offense is built upon the run game. Tyrod Taylor has made he's had some growth this season in terms of throwing over the middle, which is only knock against him. But he's not going to be able to do those dump offs that he's done a bunch this season. He's going to have to stretch the field, and he's going to have to trust Kelvin Benjamin and Charles Clay and the rest of his receiving options.
Del, several players have said negative comments about Blake Bortles throughout this season. Which Bills player is most likely to say something negative?
Say something negative?
About Blake.
About Blake? That's a good question. I mean, because of this atmosphere, this almost like buttoned up culture that McDermott has put together. I mean, I guess maybe I would go with LaShawn McCoy only because I saw him call Kiko Alonso a bum on Instagram once. But I don't know. This team has been very respectful in a lot of ways. Sean McDermott, not quite to this extreme, but he takes a page out of the Bill Belichick playbook. And normally Bill takes pages out of other teams' playbooks, like literally, but he takes a page out of a Bill Belichick playbook where he he plays up every opponent, and he gives a lot of respect. So, the whole trash talking thing isn't really something that's been really prevalent in the media this year.
Del, on the other side of the ball, defensively, how do you think that they're going to attack this Jaguars offense?
Oh man, I hope they focus on Fournette. Holy cow! They have had some rough showings against running back this season, and so that's as a fan, the guy that was keeping me up at night was Leonard Fournette. So they're really going to have to focus on him and challenge Blake Bortles to beat them through the air. It's going to be a tough going. I'm hoping the Bills are up to it. I think they have it. They've shown they have it. It's just a matter of they need to finish their tackles, and they can't be letting Fournette, slide through their arms.
All right, Tal, before we let you go, we'll get back to happier things and even talking about this matchup, getting ready for it. Where were you when Andy Dalton hit Tyler Boyd?
I was New Year's Eve. I was at my wife, my kids. We were at our friend's house, a couple other couples and their kids, getting ready to usher in the new year. And I was in his living room, and it's funny because I have a T-shirt company that sells different Buffalo themed T-shirts, and I had two different options that I was going to go with in terms of if the Bills didn't make it or they did make it. And after Andy Dalton threw that interception that was called back, I very quickly made changes to, all right, so much for the playoff shirt. And, and so I'm hustling, trying to switch gears very quickly as that happens. I'm screaming and yelling and crying and trying to type on the laptop, and I'm trying to hug everybody. It was crazy. But, so I was at my friend Brett's house, and it was great. I was with my family. It was my kids got to see their dad really freak out for the first time, 14 to 11. So they've never seen it. So that was great. I was with friends, as everybody should be with something like that.
And speaking of your T-shirt company, 26shirts.com, really quickly, you raised close to $500,000 because you donate a portion of the proceeds for every shirt goes towards a worthy cause, correct?
Yeah, we just passed $450,000.
Goodness.
Yesterday or the day before. It's insane.
Well, that's awesome. You guys do a great job with that website, and like I said earlier, founder of 26shirts.com and co-founder of the Bills Mafia, Del Reed. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think I speak for a lot of Jaguar fans when I say that there's a mutual respect for how you guys support your team. And for any fans out there who want to see more of Del's work, be sure to follow him on Twitter at DELREID. Thank you again.
Thanks, Del.
Thank you so much.
Stay warm up in chilly Buffalo. By the way, I thought of this earlier in the week. So the Buffalo Bills fans right now, Bills Mafia, they've donated a lot of money, right? Over like $300,000, I believe now, in Dalton's charity, thanks to that pass that he completed on 4th and 12. Do you remember the last time the Jaguars faced a team whose fan base was being very charitable at that time? The Texans. What happened? 10 sacks.
Route.
29-7 routing. So, Bills, well done for your donations. However, the Jaguars are not going to necessarily scale back anything just because you're philanthropic. They're going after you. We will go behind enemy lines with Hayes Carline and hear his one-on-one with Jaguars defensive tackle Avery Jones. That's next on 1010XL.
Keep up with what's happening in Bulldog country.
Yes.
How long is the Avery Jones?
Georgia Bulldog football.
It is 4 minutes and 7 seconds.
Okay, so we'll keep Hayes kind of quick then.
Okay.
Wait, said it's a mile-long.
When it comes to tough, versatile workhorses, nothing compares to Kubota's full of RTV series utility vehicles. Engineered to last and designed to deliver, Kubota's RTV X series doesn't just lead the way on rugged dependability, it leads the pack. From big jobs to small projects and daily chores, choose from America's top-selling family of diesel utility vehicles to help you do it all. See Coastal Equipment for greater power for the great outdoors.
Coastal Equipment.
Ugh, I don't want to go for a jog. I'm too tired for this. Oh, a new donut shop opened. I could use a quick break. Resolutions are tough to keep. And they're even tougher if you're tired. Mattress Firm can help you sleep better when you hurry in to the New Year's sleep sale going on now. And for a limited time only, to help keep you on the right track this year, we'll give you a free Fitbit with a mattress purchase of $799 or more to track your sleep and help you hit your 2018 wellness goals. And getting good sleep is easier with up to 70% off select closeout floor samples, accessories, and more. So you can find the bed that matches you at a price that matches your budget. Hurry in to the New Year's sleep sale going on now, only at Mattress Firm. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/New Year's sleep sale. Product offers and prices may vary by state.
Do you like working outdoors and want better pay and benefits? Superior Fence and Rail is seeking full-time fence installers who can provide first-class customer service. No experience? No problem. They'll train you to work with their professional team and provide you with all the tools to be a top-notch installer. Get off the fence. Call Superior Fence and Rail today and start your career.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This is the Mangler. By now you've heard my commercial for Advanced Disposal and our need for CDL drivers. As a result, we've added some good drivers to our team. However, we still have some positions to fill. We're looking for CDL drivers in Northeast Florida, especially in Clay County, St. Johns County, and yes, Duval. Come be a starter on our team. Earn a solid wage and get full benefits. Head to our website, advanceddisposal.com/careers, and get signed up today. That's advanceddisposal.com/careers.
Equal opportunity employer.
What if we told you there's a quick, easy way to get rid of the daily hassles of contacts and glasses? And even better, what if it could cost as little as $250? Well, it's all true. All thanks to LASIK Plus. Now, for a limited time only, LASIK Plus can help fix your vision for only $250 per eye. With over 1.5 million procedures performed, LASIK Plus will recommend the best treatment for your nearsightedness, farsightedness, or astigmatism for our lowest price ever, $250. Check out our reviews online and see for yourself what real patients are saying about LASIK Plus. To schedule your LASIK vision exam, call us at 844-337-2020 or visit LASIK250.com. That's 844-337-2020 or visit LASIK250.com. LASIK Plus, you won't believe your eyes, or our amazing $250 LASIK special. Results may vary. Restrictions apply. See details at LASIK250.com.
The official station of Gator Nation, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
There's not like any time I've ever been in before.
Own the movie It on digital and Blu-ray.
My grandfather thinks this town is cursed. All the bad things that happen in this town are because of one thing.
Come on, Matt, play some hype music.
An evil thing.
A clown.
If we stick together, all of us will win.
Own the digital movie now and on Blu-ray January 9th. Rated R.
MG here from Cohane's Irish Pub. A heartfelt thanks from the Cohane sisters to all you hairy dogs for joining us every game during this magical season. Join us one last time this Monday night for the National Championship. Great dog specials and the best atmosphere.
He's just not picking up. I'll try him again here.
Okay, if he doesn't, one more time. Bring home the National Championship. See you at Cohane's Irish Pub, 967 Atlantic Boulevard in Atlantic Beach.
Go Dogs!
At IHRS, use PRP stem cell technology to grow your hair back. Now at IHRS, there's no downtime. Go to hairforme.com or call 302-5703.
Well, we're here for Remedy Staffing. If you're looking for a job full of part-time, it's as easy as going to RemedyStaffJacks.com.
Wonder if he's dealing with a traffic or something. Does he come down here? He just picked up. Here we go.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. We got 15 seconds as well.
Okay, sweet. Thanks.
Ow! That really hurt! Who throws a shoe?
Helmets and heels.
Honestly.
Built by Dreamfinders Homes and presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products. Tuesday nights at 7
on 1010XL. Now let's go behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Riverside Pain Physicians.
Hayes Carline, Jaguars beat reporter for 1010XL, joins us now. Good morning, Hayes. Are you stuck in traffic somewhere?
I am not yet, but soon to be, I am sure. And, it should be a unbelievable day, and looking forward to seeing the environment at Everbank Field.
Yeah, it's packed already. You better leave soon.
The reports from people who are just now getting here that it's taking about 45 minutes to get from the landing to actually the sports complex. So it is backing up, although the Matthews still looks good. Certainly the Hart is now backed up. All right. Tony Baselli called for the Jaguars defense to shut out the Bills at the Bills Bustin' Bash on Friday. How likely is that to happen, Hayes?
It's got a good chance. I mean, I like the pick. It's they've certainly pitched shutouts this year. They came close against the Ravens. So I think a lot of it will depend on how effective LaShawn McCoy can be. And really it depends on, I think for them to get the shutout, it would have to be somewhat close, maybe 2 possessions throughout. I think if the Jaguars were to get up, let's say 21-0, then maybe you let down and you let in the garbage one, that they did against Baltimore. So I don't know. I mean, I think they have a chance to do it. I don't believe they'll do it, but obviously I only have Buffalo 4-6. So certainly I think that they'll be in that range. I would be stunned if the Bills get beyond 17 points today. Barring something freakish like pick sixes, kick returns, blocks, something like that. But I think this should be a game where the Jaguar defense, starts to solidify its reputation even more, because it's one thing to do it in the regular season. This will be the first time a lot of the nation has really seen this Jaguars defense. And, if you really want to be elite, you have to do it in the playoffs. So I think, this is a great opportunity. This is a game featured with matchups that are advantageous at every spot for the Jaguar defense. So, if they want to be considered one of the best, go out and hold the Bills to a very low point total. And if they get the shutout, obviously that would be fantastic.
Hayes, the past 2 weeks, have we seen an offense that wants to sort of limit the plays to quote-unquote save it for the playoffs?
I don't think they were holding anything back. I just think they had a bad offensive plan against the Titans. Nathaniel Hackett got too reliant on, the run, pass formula that we've seen a lot, and I don't think that was holding anything back. To me, you don't play your starters and then hold stuff back. I think if you were in that mode, then you would just, play, at least sit some guys out. And, they obviously, I think, were trying to win the game, trying to keep the Titans from making the tournament. And I just thought they had a conservative game plan. And, again, it didn't help that, there was some poor execution, especially at the receiver spot and left tackle spot. So, I don't get a sense they were holding something back. I think they need a more aggressive game plan today. I think they need to throw early, set up the run, and I think they know that. So, I think it'll be fascinating to see what happens today, but if they rely on the, formula of running on first down, running on second down, and then figuring it out from there, then that'll play to Buffalo.
Hayes, we saw a Rams team last night that for a bunch of them it was new to be on this stage, to be in the playoffs, and we saw a couple of guys that shrank in that spotlight, and it cost maybe the Rams an opportunity to advance in the playoffs. When you look at this Jaguars team that has not a whole lot of playoff experience on this roster, where do you see the potential for that kind of thing to happen if you do?
I think the receiver spot, just because while we've seen some good things out of D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole, I still think they're going to have to lean on those two today, even if Marquise Lee is active and able to give them, 25, 30 snaps. Alan Hearns is still working his way back into things. He should be better than last week, but still missed a lot of time. And, I still don't know that his ankle is 100%. I think it's just good enough that he can get out there. So, I think that's the concern, because we saw it in the loss to Arizona, and we certainly saw it last week in the loss to the Titans. These guys tend to go into shells where they don't make, even above the routine play, but last week they didn't even make the routine play. So that would be my biggest concern. I don't really have any concerns with the defense. I don't really have any concerns with the offensive line, but I still worry about that receiving core. And if, Blake Bortles is a rhythm player, and if he, is hurt by a few key drops early, then I think his confidence is shaken, and that would be one recipe for the Bills to come in here and pull the upset.
Hayes, you have the Jaguars going to the Super Bowl. Why are you so confident in this team?
because of the defense, because I think the defense truly is one of the best that we've seen in a decade. I get that the Vikings finished first in total offense and scoring defense and total defense, but they don't make the plays that this defense makes. And, I think that, I don't think anybody would be surprised if the Jaguar defense scored, 3 times or set up 3 to 4 touchdowns, if the Jaguars get hot in the playoffs. And so that's where I think it starts. I just think the Jaguars are so good in the secondary. They're so good at getting after the quarterback, and that's the formula for success in the playoffs. So while Blake Bortles, has played really well in December and then sort of cooled off, I don't think he'll have to be, Superman or have some Eli Manning, Joe Flacco playoff, resurgence or elevation for this team to go a long way. He just can't kill them. I think Leonard Fournette is poised to have a good playoff run. So, yeah, I have the Jaguars winning today. I have them winning a close one at Pittsburgh next week, another close one in Foxborough against the Patriots, and then I think they get to the Super Bowl and lose to New Orleans.
That would be incredible, other than that ending against New Orleans. You caught up with defensive tackle Avery Jones. Once today's game is over, is he going to be locked into that Monday night game?
Yeah, absolutely. Avery's got a lot of confidence in the Georgia Bulldogs, and it's been fun to watch him sort of enjoy it throughout the season. And, he'll be a big part today. LaShawn McCoy obviously is probably going to be active. We don't know how effective he will be. But, Avery Jones will be a big part in that, trying to clog up the middle and allow the linebackers and ends to sort of swarm to Shady. So this is a big game for Avery Jones in his first playoff experience.
All right, Hayes, thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you later today.
All right, sounds great. Take care.
To the Super Bowl, that would be incredible. Here is Hayes Carline with Jaguars defensive tackle Avery Jones.
We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars defensive tackle Avery Jones here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Avery, hard to believe that the playoffs are here?
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of brand new to us. I mean, my body just feels different. It feels like it should be done at this point in time. So, it's been kind of a little bit harder to push on, but the enthusiasm in the locker room and with the guys has really been a great help, to get all that tiredness out of you.
It seems to me like this week is really dragging for the game to get here. Is that how you guys feel, or has it been for you, or has it been a normal week, fast week?
No, I think Coach did a great job of keeping it just like any other work week. So, I mean, we're staying in routine. No one has to switch up. No one has to do anything extra to prepare themselves because it's a normal work week. We got our normal times, and we stay with our same old routine.
Incognito leads a very talented Bills interior. What do you see out of those guys?
I mean, you see a very veteran group. I mean, especially starting with Wood. He's an athletic center that does a great job and has a great recognition of defenses and can really get his guys into place. And, with Incognito, he's always been a strong figure in the league, and he's still doing that. And with Vlad, I feel like he's a really good player, and he's doing great things in run and pass.
What kind of strides do you think you've made this year? How are you better now than you were when camp started?
I don't know. I haven't really paid attention. I mean, I've just been happy with the wins. I mean, the coaches haven't really said anything negative to me, so that's a positive to me, I guess. I mean, unless you've seen something you can help me with, I'm just good as long as I'm doing good. And, I don't know. It's always me. It's like always been. As long as I'm not a weak link on the line, I'm good to go.
It seems like you've had a really good year.
Yeah, so I don't feel like a weak link, so I'm good to go. Stats don't really mean all that. It's all about winning.
What's it going to be like as far as this defense's reputation? I mean, the league has caught notice, obviously, of Saxonville and what you guys have been able to do. But the playoffs, it's a different level. Do you sort of feel like you guys have the opportunity to forge that reputation even more with an outstanding playoff run?
Yes. I think, everyone on defense is really taking our performance during the regular season personally because that performance should definitely translate to the postseason. And we played football for a long time. Everybody knows when you watch NFL and look at the playoff, they say two things travel. That's the run game and defense. And for us to go where we're going, we got a home game now, but after this is going to be on the road. So we have to, establish that now and keep it going to help us win.
It seems like you guys shook off the 2-game losing streak in the regular season. Do you feel that way?
Yes. I mean, it sucks to lose. You never want to lose, but, we did a good job of looking ourselves in the mirror. We just didn't shrug it off and say, we already clinched. It doesn't matter. We already got the finish. No, no. We knew what we did wrong, and we know we're a better team. So, we came in those days, and we looked, the guys in our room in the face and said, what can you do better? And, we told ourselves what we can, and that's what we've been working on.
How about those Georgia Bulldogs?
Oh, they're doing great. I wouldn't work on I say. You hear me every day in the locker room. I haven't lost faith at all. I'm letting everybody know. Everyone's surprised and even shocked, but I'm not. I knew this was going to happen, so I'm just waiting for the final result so I can really gloat for a whole year.
What would you say to those guys if you had the opportunity to talk to the team?
The Bulldogs? There's not much to say. Kirby does a great job motivating them, and I think the St. Class does a great job. When you got people that's got first-round draft grades that are coming back for another year for this type of shot, there's nothing to be said. That was said way back in spring training and all that. So I'll just let them know that I'm supporting them, I'm rooting for them.
10 seconds.
Nothing for me.
You got a score prediction for us for Monday night?
Dogs win. It don't matter what
5?
the score is.
Jaguars defensive tackle Avery Jones, thanks so much for joining us, and certainly best of luck to you on Sunday.
Thanks to Hayes Carline for catching up with Jaguars defensive tackle Avery Jones. One matchup that will be really fun to watch today. Marcel Darius, Avery Jones going up against Richie Incognito, offensive lineman for the Bills. Familiarity between Darius and Incognito. Honestly, Incognito has a little of a past as far as some off-the-field issues.
Yeah, you didn't even mention the hothead at the group, and that's Malik Jackson. He's the one that if there's going to be somebody on the defensive line that gets into it with Richie Incognito, 100% I'd bet that there'd be Malik Jackson.
Great point, absolutely. We are almost out of time. We will find out what's cooking in the Sawyer Gas Grill and make our prediction for Jaguars Bills. That's coming up next. Keep it right here on 1010XL.
1010XL. With you Jacksonville's most play-by-play coverage.
The College Football Playoff Championship. Alabama versus Georgia. Monday night at 8.
Here's something everyone needs to know. As a patient, you have a right to know of incidents of negligence at a healthcare facility. You have a right to know how many times a doctor has performed a particular type of surgery. You have a right to know if a doctor has had a bad result during surgery. So if you're choosing a doctor or a hospital, ask the questions, demand the answers, and make the best decision for you and your loved ones. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family. Jacksonville.
Hey, this is Rick Ballou. You come home from a long day at work fighting the traffic, then your wife tells you the heat won't come on. What do? Well, do what I do. Call McGowan's Heating and Air Conditioning. I trust Max for all our heating and air conditioning needs, and you should too. So call McGowan's today at 264-COOL or visit McGowan'sAC.com. McGowan's, the official heating and air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
License number CMC 1250075.
Did you know Florida Pump Service has been servicing Northeast Florida since 1948? Donna Murphy here from Helmets and Heels. Florida Pump Service receives a lot of calls from customers who have used a handyman or individual for their pump and well issues, and now that person is no longer in business or can't be found by phone. At Florida Pump Service, you'll never have those problems. Call 269-0202 or visit floridapumpservice.com. Florida Pump Service. We make water happen.
Welcome to Moe's! Moe's Catering has so many fresh ingredients in their fajita bars and burritos that your coworkers can build a meal as unique as they are. Give your health fanatic a bowl of all-natural chicken with a side of grass-fed steak.
I'm eating at my standing desk.
Your micromanager, total control.
A tablespoon of handcrafted guac.
And your intern, a break from traffic.
Moe's delivers?
Score! Please everyone in your office. Visit Moe's.com/catering.
Call Moe's 24/7 catering hotline number 844-797-MOE's.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. With Christmas behind us in 2018 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to stop and just say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for stopping by and giving us the chance to help. In North Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry, but at Underwoods, we look at it differently. Because we consider it an honor for somebody to come in and just give us that chance to help. And if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during that visit to Underwoods. their trust, and it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores, and we wish each of you a Happy New Year.
What do I do? Do I upset the quarterback who's going to throw me the ball?
Get your Jags news first. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Savings based on 2-year protection plan compared to T-Mobile premium device protection as of July 12, 2017. Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Terms and conditions apply.
Getting a new phone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So, protecting your phone is a smart idea. But phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $15 every month. Switch to Square Trade phone protection instead, for half the cost of insurance through your wireless carrier. And you could save $200 or more. It's like protecting 2 phones for the price of 1. Square Trade covers accidents like drops and spills with easy same-day repair options. Part of the Allstate family, we're trusted by over 30 million customers with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And switching to Square Trade is easy. How else can you save $200 in 10 minutes? So don't wait. Switch today.
Switch to Square Trade now and you can save over $200. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
This is the Mangler. By now you've heard my commercial for Advanced Disposal on our need for CDL drivers. As a result, we've added some good drivers to our team. However, we still have some positions to fill. We're looking for CDL drivers in Northeast Florida, especially in Clay County, St. Johns County.
30 seconds.
Duval! Come be a starter on our team. Earn a solid wage and get full benefits. Head to our website, advanceddisposal.com/careers. And get signed up today. That's advanceddisposal.com/careers.
Equal opportunity employer.
Kick off your week with Breakfast with Boselli, Tony Boselli, and Jeff Prosser. Breakfast with Boselli is brought to you by Carlson Enterprises, Jacksonville's first choice in roofing. Monday morning at 8:15 on 1010XL. Now let's find out what's cooking on the Sawyer Gas Grill.
We welcome in Barry Rainey, General Manager of Sawyer Gas right now. Hello, Barry. How are you?
Good morning. I'm nice and warm at the moment.
Excellent. You said that this has been a little bit busier of a week for you?
It's been a real busy week, trying to get out and make sure everybody's got gas and covered for the cold weather. And like I say, we appreciate the business. And like I say, we're continuing to work all week long to make sure we get all our customers covered.
Let's talk about portable heaters. Should people use those always outdoors?
If you have a portable heater, you need to make sure that you're using it in the right place. And normally they're rated for outdoors only. And you want to make sure that the hose that's connecting to the propane tank is in good condition so you don't have any issues with that.
Sounds good. Now let's talk about fireplaces. I know some people haven't necessarily used theirs recently, so what do they need to do?
Well, they need to make sure it's in good working order and service. You can't just always assume that it's going to work first time out, because if it's not something you normally use, and a lot of people in this climate don't, you need to make sure it's checked by a professional before you crank it up.
Yeah, I had my brother's a firefighter. This happened years ago. My dad started a fire in the fireplace of the house. Obviously, we hadn't used it all off season, right? And smoke just everywhere in the house. So the fire department guy called. Nothing was serious. Like, no one got hurt or anything. But my brother, because he happens to be a firefighter, they can see that it's his home address, right? That this is happening at, and apparently he's still getting a ration from all the guys.
He probably didn't anticipate the squirrels making a nest in the flue.
Probably not. No, you got to check that stuff.
If you have natural gas or propane at home, what should you have in order to make sure that you're safe?
Well, if any type of gas fuel in the home, you should always have a carbon monoxide detector, because one of the things that, a heater can malfunction, and we want to be able to make sure families are safe. So that will alert the family that there is a problem and make sure they're safe. So always have one of those in working order, and make sure you test it on a regular basis.
Barry, 2 big games for you coming up in the next 2 days. Jaguars Bills today, and then tomorrow night, Georgia, Alabama.
Georgia, Alabama. It's been a long dry spell. It was back in the 1980s.
I guess he's a Georgia fan, not an Alabama fan when he mentioned
back in the
spell.
1980s. I mean, I can remember the last time I got to see us really do something was when Herschel Walker was playing. So that'll tell you how long ago it was.
All right. So who wins today's game at Everbank Field? Jaguars?
Jaguars all the way.
Yeah.
The Buffaloes don't have it.
The Buffaloes, that's right. They like to shoot off fireworks, though, I've discovered today as we've been sitting here at Tailgaters.
Those might be Jaguar fans, too.
Well, you know, as I said to a group of fans, I said, I'm glad you're smiling while you're going in because you won't be smiling when you're coming out. But it's nice you come down all the way from Buffalo to see us.
What is on the Big Blue Grill today?
We're cooking up some Azar sausage on the Big Blue Grill, and if you're fortunate enough to get here in time, we're going to let you sample a little barbecue chicken from Azar.
Ooh, I don't think we've had that yet this season, so that's awesome.
It's a playoff game specialty. What can I say?
I love it. And if people want to register to win a grill,
they could go to AmeriGasGrillGiveaway.com and register there for the grill that we're going to be giving away this spring. It's a great value, over $2,000. Or if you're coming by to say hello, we have a little card you can take away with us. It'll tell you all about it.
And also, the people can get those clear plastic bags that they'll need to go
Absolutely. Don't worry about having to buy one. Come stop by Sawyer Gas. We'll give you one that's NFL approved, and you can take all your belongings in there and just make sure to leave your pens, knives, and everything else at home.
All right, sounds good. Barry, thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy the game today.
Thank you so much.
We will be certainly tasting some of that delicious chicken here in just a few moments. One more segment to go here on our very first ever Kickoff Show playoff style here at Tailgaters parking lot. So now let's make our picks.
Now, pre-game predictions delivered by Moe's Southwest Grill. Schedule your holiday party catering today and get a $5 Moe Buck for everyone in your party. Order online at moescateringfl.com.
Before we get to that, did either of you see the Duval hype video yesterday?
I did, yeah, it was awesome.
Did it bring tears to your eyes like it did mine?
Tears, no.
No? Tears?
No. There was one by Big Cat Country earlier in the season that really did, midway through the season, that brought tears to my eyes. But that one, it was just, it got me excited, it got me hype. But I'm definitely ready to change the narrative, and I think that was a lot of the focus for that Duval Till We Die video by the Jaguars yesterday.
I loved the part where it says, we are a small market, but we do big things. And yes, the Jaguars are facing another team from a small market in the Bills today, so they certainly understand what it's like. But I feel like the Jaguars have a negative national kind of persona, whereas it doesn't seem like the Bills have that. And someone tweeted me that they're watching a lot of the NFL coverage today, and there's different scenes of Bills fans here tailgating. I hope that they're also showing how many Jaguars fans are out there tailgating.
That's not the narrative.
Let's get to the actual game. Who you got, Tony? Bills or Jaguars? You know this game makes you nervous.
No, it doesn't. I've been talking about the reasons that it could make you nervous today, but looking at this matchup and getting ready for the matchup, I was on it early in the week. I haven't come off of it. I think that we're going to see the Blythe that we saw in early December, and if they get that Blythe, the Bills got no chance. I think they're going to be able to run the ball because the Bills haven't been able to stop the run, and if the Bills can't stop the run, they got no chance. I think this defense is good enough that even if they had LaShawn McCoy, that I don't think the Bills could score a couple touchdowns today against the Jags with a healthy McCoy. Without a healthy McCoy, they don't have a chance. It's just, there's nothing about it when you look at the matchup that you say, yeah, this is where they can get at you. I don't see where the Bills can get at you unless it's the Jets game. Those are the things that make you nervous. Is as much confidence as we have in this Jaguars team, it's a Jaguars team that lost to the Jets and the 49ers and the Cardinals, and two of those were in the last 5 weeks. It's still the team that did that. So they're not a world beater. They're a team that has been very good defensively, that when their quarterback runs hot, they're really, 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 really hard to beat. I think the quarterback's going to run hot today. Final score, Jags 31, Bills 13.
Nice. That's really close to my score, and I think it's safe to say that all three of us are going to be picking the Jaguars today. My final score is going to be 30-13.
So very close to Tony's.
Jags win.
The Jaguars don't do well when going up against a quarterback who gets the ball extremely quickly. We saw that in the Jets game. Yes, he's not necessarily the world's greatest quarterback, but McCown got that ball out very quickly. We saw that in the 49ers game with Jimmy Garoppolo, who might be the next best franchise quarterback in the NFL. We saw that somewhat against the Cardinals with Blaine Gabbert as well. A quarterback who's able to get the ball out very quickly can do damage to this elite Jaguars defense. We saw the Jaguars go up against Russell Wilson, who's a very mobile quarterback who has basically had some issues in controlling the ball and trying to scramble, because this Jaguars defense, especially the linebacking core, is so incredibly fast. To me, Tyler Taylor doesn't have enough offensive weapons in order to make him successful against this Jaguars defense. I personally don't think that Blake Bortles is going to have to do a ton in order for the Jaguars to win this ballgame. I've got it Jaguars 28, Bills 20, and the only reason I have the Bills getting 20 points is I think they get a late score when the Jaguars are basically already celebrating a home victory. So there we go. We do all have it Jaguars winning. No surprise. Andrew, you too?
No surprise.
Jaguars winning?
Yeah, for me, I think Jaguars 24, Bills 10.
All right, so all three of you definitely have and Hayes have the Jaguars basically being able to prevent Buffalo from doing a whole lot, especially scoring in the end zone.
I just don't see it happening. Like,
it's statistically,
unless the Jags turn it over, I don't see what the Bills can do. And I do get the idea that the greatest strength of this Jaguars defense is that secondary, especially the corners, where A.J. Boye got screwed on being a first-team All-Pro, I guess just because they won't name two guys from the same team as a first-team All-Pro, with Jalen getting the honors. And that's neutralized a little bit because if you're Buffalo, it's like, oh, who cares? Like, we don't expect much out of those guys anyway. Oh, Kelvin Benjamin isn't going to go off today. Ooh, like, they've had plenty of games where they found a way to win without that being the formula for them finding a way to win.
No, it's all about athlete against athlete whenever you get to the playoffs. And it's going to be a similar game plan on the defensive side of the ball for both of these teams. They're going to try to put 8 in the box. They're going to try to stop the run and force both of these quarterbacks to throw. And I just think that Blake Bortles has the slight edge when it comes to throwing.
Home, man. We've seen what he does at home this year, and I expect him to be home, yeah.
Yeah, Bortles, as long as there's no, I think, to me, as long as there's no interception in the first half, the Jaguars absolutely win this.
He can't lose it. That's the thing. It's the most important game of his entire career. Probably will determine his future in a Jaguars uniform, longevity-wise, and he has to play mistake-free football today. He has to.
It is a few minutes before 10 o'clock, and there are several people here at Tailgaters.
It's full.
At the actual bar, and then the actual parking lot, yes, is packed. Tons of grills fired up. Any special food for you guys today, Blythe?
Steak and lobster for us today. I already got my computer packed up. I'm ready to go. As soon as this show is done, I'm walking to my tailgate. I'm ready.
Tony, what does your day look like?
I'm heading inside for the Jaguars pregame, then upstairs for the game itself. Up there in the booth, and then we had a 2-hour postgame, hopefully, where we're breaking down a Jaguars victory and getting ready for a matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's what we would all love to be doing for the 2 hours postgame, and hopefully the Jags deliver that kind of experience. And by the way, for the fans that are heading out here, I get it. You should be nervous. You haven't done this in a decade. You haven't done it at home in 2 decades.
I couldn't sleep last
Basically,
night.
I get it.
It's like Christmas Eve.
Embrace the moment, guys. Like, I get the nerves are part of the fun of what it's like to be a team in the playoffs. And while we have no real way to know what this team is going to do, how these guys are going to react to being in this kind of spotlight, I say enjoy it. Whatever's going to happen over the course of the next 4 hours, 5 hours is going to happen. Enjoy every single second of it. You haven't had an opportunity to do it here in your own backyard in 18 years. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Party, guys. It's a party day.
It is. Not everyone's going to have steak and lobster, but do you think food tastes even better on a day when it is a playoff game in your own stadium?
If you can taste anything at all, maybe. Like, if you're not so excited,
will taste the best.
If you're not so excited and nervous that it's like, I don't want food. Like, I don't need anything for the next couple hours. I'm fine. I don't need anything. It's like you have just like one cocktail wiener, like that kind of thing. And I'm full. I don't need anything else. Let's just get this thing going and get it over with.
All right, you mentioned the Jaguars facing the Steelers. The Jaguars could potentially also play the Patriots. Do you think that this brand new story that came out on Friday about the fact that there's dissension in the Patriots building between Bill Belichick, between Robert Kraft, between Tom Brady, do you think that that could potentially work against the Patriots in the playoffs, or do you think that's something that will be addressed just after the season and they'll play Patriots-style football and regardless they'll win?
If the Patriots lose a game at some point in the playoffs, everyone's going to blame the article for that being the reason they lost. I don't think it has.
And if they win, they'll blame the article too.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with what their short-term success is going to be, because right now they have Belichick and Brady. And it's the ultimate trump card, has been the ultimate trump card for 20 years in the NFL, those two guys working together. So after the season, we'll see how everything falls out. In New England, we'll see how much of this story was legit and how much of it was a guy grasping at something. We'll find out, I think, down the road. For me, if and when the Patriots were to get eliminated from this playoff run, I don't think it's because of this article or whatever's going on inside that building. It's because they ran into a better team that day.
And defensively, the Jaguars match up extremely well against the Patriots. The only thing that would worry me against facing off a team like the Patriots would be those final few minutes before the half or at the end of the game where Bill Belichick just excels better than any other coach in the NFL history.
It seems asinine to me to think that Tom Brady, the biggest competitor we've really ever seen as a quarterback in the NFL, would look up and be scared of competition from a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. But at the same time, we're all human, and maybe Brady doesn't want Garoppolo being the face of the Patriots.
And it's not necessarily being scared, but it's job security. You don't want to, historically, that whenever you have an established quarterback like a Brett Favre or even a Peyton Manning, you don't want to help the next guy because they're there to take your job. So that I can see the little bit of an animosity between the two in that regard, but for all accounts and all reports, that they hung out together, they went to the Derby together, but that is outside of work. When it comes to competition on the field, Brady absolutely wants to keep a guy like Garoppolo at bay.
Joe Montana finished his career in Kansas City, not San Francisco. I mean, it's not like Brady would be the first one that had a storied career in a place and then ended it somewhere else. That's how it works in the NFL. You can pay guys always so much.
And egos, to me, can certainly get in the way of a good thing.
That's why 20 years is shocking.
Yeah, that's true. But when it comes to the Jaguars, as far as egos, there should be a ton of egos on this Jaguars defense, yet they found a way to all work together. I never got the sense throughout the season that Jalen Ramsey was looking at A.J. Boy and saying, why is he getting attention? And A.J. Flip,
none of that.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get Calais Campbell and Malik Jackson were fighting for the spotlight. I didn't get that Paul Posluszny and Myles Jack at any point in time had too much ego to be able to give up their job.
Well, the quarterback position is completely different from units that play together. The quarterback is the position versus all of those other guys you just named, where it's their job to play together as a unit.
Sure, and I'm giving credit to the Jaguars coaching staff and the players themselves for being able to realize that if they're going to get where they want to go, which is Minneapolis in the Super Bowl, they are going to have to be a together first, team first type of team, type of defense.
They've been that all season. I would argue that, especially Telvin Smith, he had that infamous speech earlier in the year where he talked about how this is a family. We've been through so much together, and now we're starting our winning ways together.
Well, and it's more of a group that, with a fan base that has been, shall we say, critical of their quarterback in Blake Bortles.
Just a tad.
To put it nicely, this has been a locker room that has rallied around the things about Blake that make it easy to rally around him. And it's the things about Blake that, even if you're hypercritical of the guy, they're the reasons you want it to work. Like, even with the times that you've been the most critical of the guy, you're like, he does this. I want it to work for him so badly. The gamesmanship of him, that attitude that he has, the way he carries himself, the way he handles all the adversity that he's been through in his career.
Has never complained.
Right. You want that to be successful. Here he is, man. He's playing a playoff game for a team that just won the division. Go get it, Blake, man. I'm pulling hard for you, buddy.
Absolutely. It's been 18 years since Jack hosted a playoff game. It's been 17 seasons also for Buffalo to actually make it to the playoffs. The Jaguars and the Bills face off at 1 o'clock at Everbank Field today. That is a wrap for us here at Tailgaters. Hopefully we will have another kickoff show talking another playoff game next weekend. Thanks to our producer Matt LeVay back at 1010XL headquarters, our on-site engineer Andrew Gibson, and of course our friends at Sawyer Gas for cooking up those Azar sausages and barbecue chicken for us today. For Blythe Brumleve and Tony Smith, I'm Lauren Brooks. Enjoy your playoff game day and stay tuned for the Publix Tailgate Show with Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick on 1010XL.
From the locker room to the 50-yard line, no one knows the Jaguars like John.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, man. Enjoy the game.
Catch Jaguars.
No problem at all. Enjoy the game, y'all. All right, man. See you.
Who knows? Mondays on Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Brought to you by Florida Pump Service on 1010XL.
The all-new Duval Ford is